Hey, Real Estate Besties. Today is Tuesday, and around here, that means that we are answering your burning questions. Now, I don't care if it's about a deal that you're working, just a question on how to organize something in your business, or if you just want to dish with your good real estate bestie, I am here to answer your questions. Now, if you have a question, head on over to rosemarylewis.com/ask. And you will be able to leave a voicemail and I will answer your question on the podcast. Let's get into our question for today.
This is Monica from Texas, and I am wondering, as a new real estate agent, what are the biggest challenges I'm going to face?
Hey, Monica, thank you so much for your question, my fellow Texan. And listen, I had to pause here for a second because that is a loaded question. And I think that we have to be very careful. I have to be careful on how I answer it and just be very careful in understanding that anyone that you ask that question to, they're going to have a total different answer, right? But there may be some similarities. So the way I think about it, if I was to ask someone, what's the hardest part about being a new mom? For someone, it's going to be breastfeeding. For someone else, it's going to be the late nights. For someone else, it's going to be, wearing maternity jeans 6 months later. And even though all of these people may experience the same thing, what is the most challenging may look different for each individual person. I wanted to be thoughtful and put myself back in the mindset of when I was first getting started. And if I'm being honest, and I hope this does not sound egotistical, but y'all are the besties, I think you are going to understand exactly what I'm saying. Honestly, being a novice was the hardest part. Just not being great at all the things immediately, even when I was seeing results, just not feeling like I quite had it. That honestly was the hardest part. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of us, we get into real estate. Most often, this is not always the rule, but what I have noticed is that many people that are in real estate, this is a second career, or maybe it is a side hustle until you're able to move into a full time. I don't think you have as large a number of people that, this is the first thing they did out of high school or out of college. So as a result, I think many of us come to this industry having some sort of success. And even if it's a job you hate, you know how to do it and you do it well. And you can probably do it with your eyes closed. And probably what you were doing before isn't necessarily dependent on what feels like other people being in agreement with you, raising their hand and say, hey, I want to buy or sell. You just got to go. You got to do your job. You got to do it well. And a lot of times we were really baller at what we did, right? So now you come into this space of real estate where you are no longer, and I'm not minimizing any profession, but not only are you realtor, but you are now social media manager, and now you are a contract reader, and now you are a content writer. And you also need to understand the contract. And, now you have to network with people, and, you have to be a problem solver and all of these things. So for me, all of that just felt overwhelming because it felt like once I got kind of the hang of something else happened to help me figure out, like, girl, you ain't got it. And that was my mindset. Like, I haven't gotten it. And shifting my mindset from feeling overwhelmed because I didn't know to thinking like, hey, every day there's an opportunity for me to learn was the biggest game changer, but it was really challenging until I got to that place. So I'm going to tell y'all, I know a lot of people, like, there is a fear around people knowing that you're new. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. There are going to be some clients, some people who they're not going to want to work with you because you're new, right? And unfortunately, that can plant a seed and you're like, I don't want to show that I'm inexperienced because, how am I ever going to gain experience if no one ever gives me a shot? And unfortunately, some people won't, right? They just, for whatever reason. But there will be some people that will give you a shot. And I bring this up because there is no shame in being new and there is no shame in not knowing, okay? I'll give you a great example. I am a seasoned agent, but I don't know everything about real estate. And So much so that when I am in a consultation with a buyer or seller, before it would just be really hard for me to admit that I didn't know, and that I was a novice at something. But literally in my consultations now, I say something along the lines of like, hey, if you ever have a question or if you ever have a need, I do think that I know a lot, but I don't claim to know everything. But one thing that I will promise you is if I don't know the answer, I will be very resourceful to help us figure it out. So right there, I am relieving myself of the pressure that was most overwhelming to me when I first got into the business, to pretty much say, hey, we're going to get to learn together, right? So I would say that was the first thing, like just that whole feeling of not being an expert right away. But the thing that helped me overcome that part was embracing the fact that, hey, I want to be a lifelong learner. And in my real estate career and all the other things that I get to do in parenting and marriage and friendships, hey, I want to continue to evolve and learn and grow. And it's okay that I don't know everything right away. So I hope that was helpful, girl. Best of luck to you. And y'all, keep the questions coming. We are here to help. See you next time. Bye.